Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be analyzing for cryptocurrencies, which are Joe, CONFLUX Network, Magic, and Ethereum. We will see where they might move over the next days and weeks. Please subscribe to our channel while to receive our real-time trading alerts and trading signals, and also newsletters on cryptos, stocks, forex, and commodities. Then you can join our growing community on Patreon. You will find the link in the description field. Let's start with Joe against the US dollar. As you can see here, we have a daily chart, and soon we will switch to the weekly one. Actually, Joe is one of my favorite crypto. I predict a very first target. So I predict Joe hitting the very first target, 0.81 US dollar, while we've been sending an alert to our Patreon at 0.40 US dollar. So right now we are actually in profit. What we see here is an explosion in terms of volumes. Here we see a very strong increase in volumes in association with a long white candle. That actually means that the whale, the big hands, have entered the market, while probably they have been stopping out the retailers. Okay, so now if we switch to the weekly chart, we see in the upper section we see the price action, then beneath we see the volumes, and then the unbalanced volumes that I use in order to detect eventually some bearish or bullish divergence. Now if we switch to the weekly chart, we will have a better understanding of the amount of volume. So as you can see here, we have a huge amount in terms of volume. So again, Joe is one of my favorite. I believe, as you can see here, we have the very first technical barrier, horizontal barrier at 0.80 US dollar. This is a Binance. Okay, it's been listed just a few weeks ago. Obviously, Joe is inside a very long-term bearish trend. Actually, if we switch to the bit screener or some other broker, we can see that actually Joe is coming from a 6 US dollar quotation till going to hit 0.13 US dollar. Right now, my analysis that we have just started a new 3 years, actually 4.5 years bullish cycle with 3 years of bullish one and 1.5 years of bearish trend. Okay, so Joe is going to definitely overcome the 1 US dollar, but actually it's not going to happen anytime soon, because before we are going to test this area between 0.81 US dollar. Definitely there is still some room for some nice profit from 0.60 till 0.80 or 1 US dollar. Disclaimer, I trade by my own, so that's my trading plan. I don't suggest you do the same. If you do the same, please trade on your own and make your responsible decision, okay? Now we can switch to CONFLUX Network. Here we have again a daily chart, and actually it's very interesting to study the unbalanced volume, okay? Now, as you can see here, we see here in at the end of February 2023, we have seen a series of descending candle, okay, long black candle with some long white one, okay. While as if we observe the unbalanced volume has been moving almost horizontally. Now, even in this case, it's even more clear. We zoom in a little bit. As you can see here, we have a series of 6 candles, but the unbalanced volume is moving horizontally. Okay. In fact, I entered a buy long here around 0.30 US dollar, and right now I'm in profit because the unbalanced volume was detecting an important bullish divergence. Okay. Now we switch to the weekly chart in order to understand where CONFLUX Network might move over the next weeks. Okay. Again, even in this case, we can detect a huge increase in terms of volumes. Now, if we compare this series of volumes with the last one, we see a huge increase. Again, the unbalanced volume is moving up, okay, in a series of higher highs and higher lows, which is actually, by definition, an uptrend. So where CONFLUX Network might move over the next weeks, okay? That was the very first barrier, 0.50 US dollar. Now, I believe we will see a new test of this area. Once we break above the 0.50 US dollar area, definitely the next area will be again 0.81 US dollar even for CONFLUX Network. Okay, so the overview that I'm giving about Joe, CONFLUX Network, Magic, and Ethereum is an overview about 4 cryptos that I believe are going to outperform many of the cryptos out there. Okay, my idea about the crypto market in general is that actually unfortunately is full of scams, is full of coins that actually have nothing to do with finance. Okay, actually they are just based on momentum. They are scam, and I really hope they will go to zero, because scam has to go to zero. Okay, so we want to trade only those cryptocurrencies which have some project behind, where there is some serious management behind. Okay, we don't want to trade scams. Okay, Conflux network, so 0.50 again, we were going to see this barrier to be touched over the next days. But once we will see the test of 0.50, I believe we will see some squeeze, and then we are going to break above this area to go till 0.81 US dollar. Magic is another interesting opportunity. We will see. Actually, now switching to the weekly chart in order to have a better view, the very strong barrier is positioned around 2.10, 2.20. Okay, so for those ones who are not holding Magic, the best solution is to put a buy long at the break of 2.20. Okay, now if we zoom in a little bit, we see actually a series of doji. Okay, now with this with these tails. Oh, here we have one doji, two doji, three doji, four doji, again another doji here, with actually unbalanced volume, which is not moving up. Okay, which means that probably, or very probably, we are not going to test the 2.10 US dollar area anytime soon. But once, because it is going to happen, and we will see more in depth with the daily chart, once we will break above the 2.10, actually we can project Magic by using the difference between the point of high and the point of low. Actually, now we see here a rectangle between 2.10 and this area around 1.10, which means 1, 2.10 plus 1 means 3.10 is the natural first target once breaking above the 2.10. So once breaking above the 2.10, we definitely can aim to see Magic going to hit 3.10. Okay, again, if you want then to receive our newsletter, and even better our trading signals, then you can join our growing community on Patreon. It's just $25 for 1 month subscription. Okay, what we see here is Ethereum. For Ethereum and Bitcoin in general, I've been sending out a very interesting detailed report to my Patreon, where I've been forecasting what is going to happen over the next 4.5 years. Okay. Also, there is an article that I wrote in the Patreon page already on December 2021, the 29th of December 2021, when I clearly stated, and there is the proof, that I was going to predict a very strong fallout for the stock market and the crypto market over the second half of 2022, which actually happened perfectly. Okay, now I predict a new very strong bull cycle for the crypto market starting in 2023. Okay, so the bull cycle should last at least 3 years, while we will see a 1.5 years of descendant for the second part of the cycle. Okay, the Gauss cycle obviously is made of one ascending part and one descending one. Okay, so what we see here on Ethereum. Okay, the most important thing that we have to observe, that we have to analyze here, is this huge increase in terms of volume. Okay, now let's not confused by the fact that this volume is red, but when that happens at the end of a bearish momentum, so we see here that Ethereum went from almost 5,000 US dollar till 880 US dollar. When we see here a huge volume, that means that the whales have been buying while the retailers have been stopping out. Okay, so the game here in the market is that my idea is that the whales, the big hands, are flooding the market with negative news, and they are doing it on purpose. The purpose is, let's make the retailers let's make the retailers losing money while we're taking the other part of the market. So they were buying while the retailers were selling at a loss. Okay, that's a very simple game, but actually is the game that we can see here analyzing the volumes. Now, if we zoom a little bit out, what we see here is that we are still inside a bullish trend. Okay, probably this one was the point of low of the previous cycle, and actually I believe that here around between December and January 2023 we have seen the point of low of the previous cycle. So in other words, what I'm saying is that I believe that we've started a new cycle. Thank you guys.